TSMC just posted record profit up 77%, and the stock fell anyway, as a Strait of Hormuz blockade dragged the chip trade into risk-off. 5 stories moving the tape. Let's get into it. Start with the number that matters. TSMC's second quarter net profit soared 77% to a record 706 billion Taiwan dollars on revenue near $39.5 billion US dollars. Gross margin hit 67.7%, and high-performance computing, read AI silicon, is now 66% of the business. Management guided third-quarter revenue was as high as 45.8 billion, well above the 43 billion street consensus, and pledged another $100 billion for Arizona. This is Wall Street's cleanest read on whether hyperscaler AI capex is still accelerating, and the answer is unambiguously yes. The bear case: the stock still fell nearly 5%, a classic sell the news, with a first-ever 2-nanometer ramp and heavy Taiwan concentration into a hot geopolitical moment. The forward signal: if next quarter lands above 45 billion, the entire AI supply chain re-rates higher. Below 43, the sell the news thesis wins. NVIDIA rode the same AI demand wave from a different angle. A U.S. commerce official confirmed for the first time that NVIDIA has begun shipping H200 GPUs to approved Chinese buyers, sending the stock up roughly 4% to about $211. 3 customers, including a ZTE affiliate, cleared strict national security conditions. And here's the direct tie to TSMC. Every one of those chips is fabricated on the same Taiwan lines that just guided capex higher. The bear case is blunt, and NVIDIA said it itself. Undersecretary Kessler called the volume trivial, and the company guides no meaningful near-term China AI revenue. So the 4% pop is sentiment, not fundamentals. The forward signal: watch the Blackwell decision. If Washington extends approvals up the stack to Blackwell, the China revenue line finally gets real. Until then, this is a symbolic thaw priced like a breakthrough. Anthropic made a very different bet, that the next $1 trillion in AI isn't in models, but in deploying them. Together with Blackstone, Hellman and Friedman, and Goldman Sachs, it launched ODE with Anthropic, a roughly $1.5 billion services firm that embeds AI engineers directly inside customers' offices to actually operationalize Claude. This directly parallels OpenAI's Deploy Co push, both frontier labs racing into high-margin enterprise services and pulling private equity-scale capital into the implementation layer. The bear case: services businesses are people-heavy and don't scale like software. A consulting arm can dilute the very margins that make a frontier lab so valuable. The forward signal: watch whether ODE's engineer headcount and named enterprise logos ramp over the next 2 quarters. If they do, implementation becomes a real revenue category. If it stalls, it's a land grab headline that never compounds. Here's why great earnings weren't enough. U.S. Central Command launched another wave of strikes on Iranian assets near the Strait of Hormuz and reinstated a naval blockade. Ship trackers report tanker traffic falling off a cliff. Oil held near 1-month highs, WTI around $79.60, and Brent near $84.95. And the Nasdaq slipped roughly 0.6%, even with TSMC's blowout print. The Philadelphia Semiconductor Index fell about 2% as investors rotated straight out of high-beta AI names. The bear case is the whole story. Geopolitics is now a bigger swing factor than the AI earnings tape, and a genuine oil shock reprices every high multiple growth name at once. The forward signal: watch the strait. If shipping traffic normalizes and oil rolls back under 75, expect a sharp relief rally in semis. If the blockade holds, Risk-off keeps overriding even record fundamentals. Finally, the model race hits another milestone tomorrow. Google is widely reported to launch Gemini 3.5 Pro on July 17th, after scrapping its original base model and restarting pre-training from scratch. Leaked specs point to a 2 million token context window and a deep think reasoning layer aimed at math, SVG generation, and autonomous agentic workflows. If it ships, it closes what analysts call the Great Convergence. Every frontier lab, from OpenAI's GPT 5.6 to xAI's Grok 4.5, now fielding a live public flagship. The bear case, the date and every spec are third-party leaks, not official Google confirmation, and a full rebuild is an admission Google fell behind. The forward signal: watch independent benchmarks in the first 48 hours after launch. If DeepThink tops the reasoning leaderboards, Google reclaims frontier parity. If it lands mid-pack, the rebuild bought time, not leadership. The through line today: AI fundamentals have never looked stronger. Record chips, real China shipments, a new deployment land grab. Yet geopolitics is writing the tape. When the numbers and the macro disagree, watch the Strait of HORMUZ. I'm the Daily Alpha. Subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.